Dean is a depressed waiter working at the popular restaurant chain Shenanigans with his cool friend Monty, his on again, off again girlfriend Amy, and his various coworkers all dealing with their own anxieties and insecurities. This is a day in the life of the waiters, cooks, bartenders, busboys, dishwashers, and customers of Shenanigans in the 2005 comedy Waiting. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Colton Jenkins.
And this is Filmgazm. Welcome to the Filmgazm podcast. Our 10-part miniseries on food movies, FOODGAZM, continues with the 2005 comedy Waiting, required viewing for anyone who has ever worked in the service industry. Is it a good movie? No, it really isn't. But very few movies have captured the vibe of working in a restaurant better than this one has. Really. Like I every time I watch this is my third viewing of this film, and every time I watch it, I just keep flashing back to when I was working at the Alamo Draft House and the weirdo people who worked in the kitchen and the strange dishwashers who always seemed to be like a different vibe than everybody else.
Yeah.
The hatred of the customers, the random moments of freaking the fuck out before walking right back into the fray to be all happy and smiling. It's all there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And if you have any, like, honestly, any customer service job, this is required watching. It's not just food industry. If you work in sales, healthcare, anything dealing with people, honestly.
People suck. They really do.
Fucking suck.
They're the worst. There's about 28 people on this planet I enjoy. The rest of them, frankly, can go fuck themselves. And that number is shrinking every day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was 30 yesterday.
Yeah.
This is I think the first movie we've ever brought back from Beyond the Bad, which was our Caleb and I's podcast on bad movies that we had for about a year. Waiting was one of the films we did, and this is the first time we've kind of rescued a film from that void. So kind of cool. Yeah, just something I realized. Like we've redone some Filmgazms and some Oscar Sundays, but this is our first redo of a Beyond the Bad.
Yeah. Cool.
So my question to you: this movie's all about the service industry, about the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. It's that little bit extra.
God.
And all those corporate platitudes that were shoved down our throats. If you all ever worked in a position like that, so my question to you: what is your worst service industry story?
So when I lived in New York, I worked at this restaurant where it was just me and the owner. So I cooked, I cleaned, I waited tables, dishes, everything with him. And this one day, we were about to close, like 20 minutes until closing. And this lady comes in and she wants to go order. She wants a veggie burger. Now, the restaurant I worked at, we make everything to order. It's like a farm to table type place. So I'm like, okay, that's fine, but like you're gonna have to wait, like for the food to be made, because our veggie burgers were like ground then and made then. So she's like, yeah, that's fine. So I put in the order, and my boss is this very scary Russian man. So he starts cursing in Russian. I keep mopping the floor, right? He brings the food out and she leaves. We have now closed. It is an hour past closing. And I hear a knock on the window. And I look back and it's the lady. And she looks fucking pissed off. And I open the door and I'm like, hey, sorry, we're closed. And she comes in and she goes, how fucking dare you? And I was like, what? I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What's wrong? And she's like, I've been a vegan for 6 years. I have never eaten meat. All I wanted was a veggie burger. I get back to my apartment. I take a bite out of it. And it's fucking red meat. It's not veggie. So to be fair, we did fuck up. But also, you did come 20 minutes before closing, and then you waited an hour past closing to come back. So she calls the guy, the owner, out, and she starts yelling at him, and then he starts yelling at me, and then she's like, "How dare you? Do not yell at him. He did nothing wrong." If you go on Yelp right now, look up the name of this restaurant, you will find that review. However, as I sat there quietly as this lady was defending me, calling me some poor kid who didn't deserve this, I knew in the back of my brain that I fucking put the order in wrong as a normal burger.
Jesus Christ. Damn, I think you're lucky the restaurant wasn't shut down. I mean, that's a big fuck up.
I know. It was awful. So that happened, and then just not one like dealing with other people, but with the boss. He wasn't abusive, by the way. I gotta get that out there right now. He was just very scary and kind of Gordon Ramsay-ish. One time he let me stay late, and I was cutting this cake. And when it came back the next morning, when I opened the door, I saw the cake getting thrown back in my face, and he started yelling at me because I didn't cut the squares of the cake consistently. But yeah.
I remember you telling me that story. That's fucking insane. I never worked in a passionate restaurant where it was somebody's lifeblood. I worked in a chain restaurant where every burger looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I worked at the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema. For those of you who don't know, it's a movie theater restaurant hybrid where you can order food at your seat and chomp your way through the Avengers. And a lot of people eat noisily, and there's nothing we can do about that. But I love them because they enforce a very strict no talking policy where if you talk, they will throw your ass out without a refund and ban you from the theater for the future. I fucking love that. Mad respect. If I was hosting a dinner party and I had to choose between inviting Hitler, Mussolini, or a movie talker, Hitler and Mussolini and I are going to have quite an interesting conversation. They're the scum of the earth to me. They really are. But anyway, I worked there on and off for about 3 years. I was a food runner, so I didn't take orders. I just delivered food to theaters, and that was a lot of work because we had 8 theaters.
Ugh.
Or not 6 theaters. My mistake. 6 theaters, like 5 to 800 seats a theater. It was. And I was running up and down stairs all day. I was never told when my shift would end. I was just there until they needed me. That could be an hour. That could be 9 hours. It's entirely random depending on how busy the place is. I did not like that. You could not make plans at all. It is the only job I've ever missed, though. I met Austin there, so totally worth it. But there was one. This sounds like it came out of a fucking sitcom, but I swear to God this happened. And it happened to me because, of course, it did. I think I told this story when Caleb and I did our waiting episode on Beyond the Bad, but you know what? That was a while ago. So let me refresh your memory for you. So it was a slow day. Had to have been the evening. I don't remember what the movie was. It might have been an Ice Age film. I don't know. But I'm delivering. I think it was either a fish and chips or a fried pickles. And I go to the table and there's this kid sitting there, no parents or anything, just this kid. And there's a glass of champagne in front of him, or a glass of wine in front of him. And I'm thinking, oh, mom's probably in the bathroom or something. So I go to put the plate down and I knocked the wine onto the kid.
Ugh.
And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I went to go get napkins. I come back with napkins. Mom's there. By the time I came back with the napkins, mom was there. I explained like, oh, I'm so sorry. I spilled your wine. And she was like, oh, don't worry about it. Accidents happen. And I, gave them the napkins and she cleaned up her kid and everything. I thought that was the end of it. I go back to running food. My manager comes back to me about 10 minutes later and says, do you know who that was? And I'm like, no. He said, that's a corporate lady. You spilled wine on corporate's kid.
Oh my God, dude.
And I'm like, why? What are the odds? No. And he jokingly was like, well, you're fired. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, probably, yeah. Shit. The rest of the evening, I was so nervous. I was so scared. Like, she's going to come out and go to my boss and be like, that guy needs to go.
Oh my god, dude.
And the whole time, I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ. The next day, she came back specifically to talk to me.
Oh god.
And thankfully, she was super cool. She was like, I know you were nervous. You don't need to be nervous. Accidents happen. You did really well. I just want to thank you. And I'm like, no, thank you for being so understanding. It could have been the worst day, but thankfully she was nice and was a human being and understood that it was a complete accident. I did not throw a glass of wine on her kid. But holy shit, I just remember thinking, like, what are the fucking odds? Thousands of customers a day, and I spilled wine on the corporate kid.
That's fucking great, dude.
Um,
I always think it's weird when people like go to a movie theater and they get wine. So like, I think it's weird.
I've always thought that Draft House is overcompensating with their like weirdly gourmet dishes. Like, you don't need nobody's eating like, you know, an arugula salad or whatever at the movie theater. People are getting popcorn and like a burger. You don't need to try that hard. No one's getting the like super high-end lemonade. Half their menu is just cocktails now.
Yep.
I get it. Draft House, you know, they want to have beers and shit, but I don't know. And it's expensive as shit too. A burger's now like $17.
Yeah. Also, I will say, I think any customer service job, you have stories like that. Like, I'm not gonna say any here, but I have so many stories from my job now working at a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It's people. If you think people that are like hungry are bad, I'm sorry. I know they're suffering and they're sick, but people that are in the hospital and are sick are probably some of the worst people I've ever met.
That's sad, but I believe you.
Yeah.
The most intense life draining job I've ever had was working tech support for Hulu.
Oh my god, that's awful.
It is nothing but assholes. At least at Draft House, like occasionally you deal with somebody who was a dick, but most people were just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Hulu, when you're tech support, everyone's already pissed. There is you can't talk anyone down. They're already there to yell at you and demand you fix their Hulu. It's like you walked in with a sledgehammer and fucked up their TV.
I always don't understand that, especially like you're calling tech support. They're there to help you. They're not the ones that did this to you. Same in this movie when she's like, how hard is it to take an order? Ma'am, I guarantee you that waiter wrote down your order correctly. The kitchen's the one that fucked up, okay? All right? Same in the hospital. Not my fucking fault, that you're here sick. I'm sorry that the kitchen sent you up not 3 Cokes. They sent you 2 Cokes. I don't need to hear it, okay? I had to break up a fight between two old ladies one time.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. For legal reasons, I can't say more than that. But yeah.
Well, I didn't sign an NDA. I got plenty of Hulu stories. The worst day ever was Black Friday 2018. We rolled out a coupon code that didn't work.
Oh, God.
And I had thousands of calls. I had to do 2 at a time because that was, maximum efficiency. So I was just nonstop for like 6-7 hours. Thankfully it was chat, like, online chat. So it wasn't on the phone, thank God, because I would have snapped. But it was all just like, my coupon's not working. Like, what's, where, like, is this really how you feel about your customers? You're going to give them a broken coupon? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, sir. Let me fix that for you every time. And then we'd have people who had already purchased Hulu who tried to get the coupon code and they couldn't get it because they already had Hulu. This was for like new customers. So they were pissed that, like, where's customer loyalty? Why aren't I getting a discount? So everyone was just so angry. And
it takes a special kind of asshole to be angry on like chat.
It really does. And everybody was just so pissed. And sometimes you'd have an old person who didn't know what the hell I was talking about. They just wanted the Hulu to work. And dude, when we had we had Hulu Live TV had just rolled out, and that shit was buggy as hell.
Yep.
Broke all the time. football season, that shit broke. I had angry people being like, "Where's my football game? Where's my game? I'm missing the game." And I had to be like, I'm sorry.
It's not me. I swear to God,
I
it's
didn't
not.
do it. I lasted about 2 months. It was demoralizing me. I was afraid to go to work. I was being berated every single day. It was breaking my spirit. I had to get out of there.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, it was a part-time, like what, $13 an hour gig. So not worth it. Not.
That's why, like, I'm always, anytime I have to deal with like customer support or anything like that, I'm always like, I always try to be super nice, and I always try to say as many times as I can, I know it's not you guys. Thank you so much for helping me. I know you're doing all you can do, all the time.
It takes a lot to piss me off as a customer. It really does, because I forgive pretty much everything.
Yeah, because it's not. I genuinely believe this, and this goes back to my like probably radical political views. It is not the worker's fault. It is corporate's fault all the time, every time.
Well, I've got, I always break out the old Filmgazm mantra that I first said in the like 8th episode of the show back 3-4 years ago when I did Carrie by myself. Life is quick. Don't be a dick.
There you go.
Firmly believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone's a dick to you, dick them back. But
yes,
don't instigate. You don't want to be the first dick.
No, never.
But you give. I mean, if you get it, fucking give it back. I believe that too.
Yes.
But yeah, it's crazy how many people see the service industry as just an excuse to just let out the worst version of themselves and just be a complete and total bastard.
You know who the worst are?
Oh.
You old ladies right after church on
Sunday after church crowd are monsters.
They're like, I'm free of sin. Time to go berate a gay person that's making my pancakes.
It is so weird that like literally right after chanting about how good of a person they are and how God's love makes them a warmer, stronger human being, they will then go, make a waiter cry at IHOP.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't understand having those conflicting views at the same time in the same head and be totally okay with it.
That's why I don't understand why they're like so against like homosexuality and shit. It's like, I don't understand. How can you be all loving and whatever?
Because God is a lie. That's why. There it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've said as much on so many of these episodes. I have no faith at all. I find it all wacko.
Yeah.
But some people see, God's love as an excuse to treat anyone who does not have God's love as dirt. And that's why I don't like it.
Exactly.
Would you, having seen this movie, if Shenanigans was a real restaurant, would you ever go there?
No. In fact, after watching this, I don't even want to go to like Chili's anymore.
I have a burger en route from Chili's right now as we speak.
Are you serious?
I was hungry. I was peckish, so I ordered a burger, and I didn't do anything to them. They probably didn't do anything to. It doesn't close for a few hours. They're not going to do anything to me.
It's funny. After this, I'm going to play some Baldur's Gate with some friends and Katie, and we're going to get food from DoorDash, and now I'm terrified.
As long as now he's got to be nice.
I genuinely wonder now if like I ever have been to any restaurant and they just drop it on the floor, and they're like, huh?
Probably, yeah, a lot actually. If you ever ate at the Stone Oak Alamo Drafthouse in San Antonio between the years of 2015 and 2018, like if I was working there, I never saw anything. So you were fine. On my days off, I couldn't tell you, but my days on, totally fine.
As someone who hasn't signed an NDA, anything we should know about Alamo Drafthouse?
Mine was very clean once they got rid of all that mold.
Okay. Nothing on the menu that we shouldn't order?
I'm just kidding about the mold.
Oh, okay.
No, everything's cooked. Well, not cooked to order. Stuff gets, mailed there.
Yeah.
But
I fucking hate like the restaurant I worked at, everything it was farm to table, but that's because like we had, I guess the owner had like a deal with like some farm upstate or something. But I fucking hate unless the restaurant specifies farm to table. Like, oh, why isn't this cooked to order? Fucking because it doesn't come. You, oh my god, you're in Colorado ordering Atlantic salmon. Of course, it's fucking frozen, dipshit.
Yeah, let me just go catch this for you on the West Coast.
Yes, what, dude? Fuck.
Oh my
God.
Yeah, you can't please everybody
No.
because everybody sucks.
Yes.
Well, oh, okay. Good question. Good fun. So, Waiting was written and directed by Rob McKittrick, and it's the only film he ever directed. He would, however, he would write the film's lone sequel, Still Waiting, and he co-wrote the 2018 comedy Tag. But
Okay.
yeah, he never made anything else, which is weird because this was a hit.
For 2005, I can see this being a hit.
Financially, it was a hit. Critically, no.
Yeah.
McKittrick wrote the film while he himself was working as a waiter, so a lot of this is from personal experience.
Oh my god.
I couldn't find the restaurant he worked at while witnessing a lot of this shit. I'm like 80% sure it was a Bennigan's.
Yeah, same font, same vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I got for production. There really is nothing written about this movie.
Are you serious?
Came and Went is kind of a cult favorite now, but really did not make a splash culturally at all.
Yeah. I will say it's weird to see Ryan Reynolds. Like Ryan Reynolds, he's always been like really raunchy. But to see him like a fucking absolute douchebag, pedophile, horrible human being was really weird. Like his first line in the movie is, "There's my favorite minor." I was like, what the fuck is this?
It is very strange that Ryan Reynolds' career worked out.
Yeah.
Because it really kind of started with Van Wilder, and then he just kept doing Van Wilder. Like he never stopped. He still hasn't stopped doing Van Wilder. He's been doing the same shtick for 20 years.
Well, because that's just Ryan Reynolds, I think.
It is. I mean, you know, it worked well with Deadpool, but I'm kind of over it. Like, I kind of find him obnoxious now.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of want him to stop, or at least do something else.
So like 2 years ago, I got really big into soccer with my dad. And he bought a soccer team from Wales called Wrexham. Mm-hmm. Really great documentary on it called Welcome to Wrexham. And that's just how Ryan Reynolds is, I think, like normally. Because he's like that in the documentary. It's not like a TV show. It's not a comedy. It's a documentary, and that's just how he is.
I feel like he would get on my nerves really quickly.
Yeah, probably. But he seems like such a nice guy.
Probably. It is weird that his character in this movie is supposed to be, I guess, endearing, but he's also lusting after 17-year-olds and very homophobic, and yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, oh, this is the everyman that is a waiter. No, it's not. It's ill.
Yeah, it's pretty cringy these days.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting has an IMDb score of 6.7, Rotten Tomatoes score of 30%, audience score of 75%. Critics' consensus reads, Waiting is a gross-out comedy that is more gross than comic.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I felt myself cringing more than laughing, I think. There were a couple of moments where I was just so shocked that I laughed. The bit with the bacon in the salad. And Cook is like, yes, massa. That was awful.
Dude, I heard so much worse working in the Draft House kitchen. Those people were degenerates.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I was gonna ask, so the scene where they fuck up that person's order.
Yeah.
I have only actually known one person to ever do that, and that seriously changed my my thoughts about that person. Do you think people ever deserve that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I do. But you have to be king bitch. Like, you got to be like just the worst person on earth. But I do think, I believe in the cardinal rule. You don't fuck with people who handle your food. I
Yeah,
don't think I don't think you should abuse that power, but I think that if you're going to be a dick, you kind of have to deal with the consequences. And not
exactly.
everybody's going to be nice about it. Some people are going to be like, yeah, they're going to do that. I have not met anyone who deserves that treatment. I hope I never do.
That was so gross, man.
It really was. But also, she said this was the 4th time she's been there, and the food has sucked every time. So.
Dude, oh my god! Anytime I read a fucking review or anything like that, like, yeah, I've been there 4 times, and every time it sucked. Why do you keep going back?
Yep.
Stop going back.
Yeah. I mean, speaking from my experience at Draft House, I only dipped my balls in the ranch dressing 1 time.
Oh my god!
That's not enough to hurt anybody.
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
I'm just kidding. I never saw anything like that go down at my Draft House. No way, ever.
Like, oh my god. Awful.
It's nightmarish, but you know what? You know how you avoid that? Don't be
nice.
mean to the waiter.
Yeah.
Real easy to avoid that.
I fucking hate people who are like, oh, like, I also hate people that don't tip.
I hate more than the no tippers. I hate the weak tippers.
Yes.
Yeah, like the people who are so gracious to give you $2 on a $90 tab.
Yeah.
Those people are basically Nazis to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you don't leave a tip and it's a big check, maybe I can see like they look at their bill and they're like, "Oh fuck, I did not know it was gonna be that much. Oh, I feel bad. I'm not gonna leave a tip. Okay, I'm." But like, if you leave like a tiny tip, fuck you.
Nah, I mean, if you're going out to eat, I assume you can afford to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When I worked at Draft, I got like tip share, so I got like a small percentage of that, so I didn't really get much. But I would actually I would hear people complain about their tips, but then I would think like, but you were a terrible waiter.
Yeah,
there were a couple people there who just expected it and didn't work towards providing a service, and then were pissed when they didn't get anything. And there's one person in particular, she was such a cunt. I hated her so much. She was the worst waiter. She was mean to everybody, and she always complained that she didn't get good tips. And I wanted to be like, well, look in the fucking mirror and work on yourself, bitch.
Dude, I always, even in my job today, I don't care if my day has been bad. I don't know. Someone like I work in a hospital, for God's sakes. These people are having a worse day than I am. So I always try so very hard to be exceptionally nice. But when they're rude to me, it pisses me off so like, dude, I am wiping your ass right now. Don't be fucking rude to me.
Yeah, that's God, I couldn't do it. I admire you. I could not do it.
I can't. I hate it.
What a nightmare.
Yeah.
But tip your servers, folks. Tip your servers.
Yeah, tip your servers for sure.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. I don't tip. Okay, first of all, let me just say right now, I don't think waiters and waitresses should just work for tips. I think that's awful, horrible.
Yeah, of course
Fuck
not.
that. I don't want to get into like too much politics, but we need to pay people more, and just have a livable wage.
Yeah, that's not a political point for me. Like that's an obvious way of life that we're
exactly
ignoring. Yeah,
it shouldn't be a political point, but unfortunately today it is.
Yeah,
and also what I don't like is the fucking iPad flipping, and then they stare at you, and you're like, "Fuck."
Here's a question: do you tip for takeout?
It depends. If it's a chain, no. If it's family owned, yes.
For me, I will always tip for delivery. If I'm getting it, I don't give anything.
Yeah, no.
That's how I operate. And I don't like that. Like places like I went to a concert a few weeks ago and I bought a t-shirt and there was an option to tip.
No.
At the t-shirt stand. Like, are you kidding me? Like, no. What?
No. Yeah, no. Because they are getting paid to do that.
Yeah, it's tipping
I
in
hope.
this country has gotten out of control. It used to be a tip. The whole point of a tip is a little something extra for doing an awesome job. That's what a tip was. Somewhere
Yes.
along the line, it became mandatory and expected and extravagant. And there's no way to fix that now.
It's that little extra.
Apologies for the random bouts of silence. That is me masking a pretty nasty cough. So now you know. And I don't have the time to go back and edit all of that. You guys are just going to have to sit there quietly for 3 extra seconds until we start talking again. Sorry, made myself laugh. Despite critical condemnation, Waiting was a modest commercial hit, grossing 18.6 mil on a budget of 3 mil. That's pretty good for a 2005 comedy. That's a $15 million gross. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah. Spawned one direct-to-video sequel in 2009 titled Still Waiting, in which many of the film's cast reprised their roles in cameos. Both films are streaming on Peacock. And Justin Long specifically said he really, really regrets appearing in the sequel, calling it offensive. And I'm pretty sure all the other people who popped in feel the same. I have not seen it yet. I am not in any hurry.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to do an episode of this show on or we should do one of these mini projects on direct-to-video sequels.
Oh my God. We would be so miserable just three episodes in. We'd be like, why are we doing this to ourselves? There are I don't think any good ones. Most pretty much all of them suck.
Yeah.
Especially in comedy.
I've always wanted to do the bootleg movies. Like What's Up instead of Up, or Ratatouille, or Working Bee, I think is the B movie one.
That's so wild. The fact that those movies are allowed to exist. Somebody paid for that. Somebody
paid for that.
Somebody financed the production. They hired actors. The actors saw the script and thought, yeah, I'll put my name on this. Unbelievable.
Apparently there's a Russian Avengers movie where a dude can turn into a bear that's actually supposed to be pretty fucking good. But I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not good, but just fun.
My grandpa bought a double feature at Walmart of war. It was one of them was called Battle of the Planets.
No.
And the other one was The Day the Earth Stopped.
No.
So I told him, next time you buy a movie, please call me first. And I threw it away.
That's great.
Before we get into the awards, I believe you had an interesting story you wanted to tell here.
Yeah, so I used to DoorDash for fun. This is why I always tip people who DoorDash. I always tip a lot because I almost got robbed. I got an order from Taco Bell, and the only thing on the order was a single crunchy taco. And I should have been like, oh, that's sketchy. I'm not going to fucking do that. But I was still new at it. So I was like, yeah, I'll fucking do it. So I accepted the order, and I pull into this neighborhood. It's like a well-lit, normal-looking neighborhood. But when I get out of the car, these two older women come out from behind, not from the front door, but around the house. They walk up to my car, and I'm like, hi, DoorDash? And one of them is like, yep. And then she walks over to my car window. She looks into the car, and he's like, oh, you don't have any other orders with you? And I'm like, no. And she's like, oh, damn. We were going to rob you and take all of your other orders, but if you just have to talk about, that's fine. And I was like, okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
They just straight up said oh, we were going to rob you, but you don't have enough for us. So deuces.
Yeah. But I also respect that they weren't going to rob me of money. They were just going to rob the other food, which I thought was kind of funny looking back on it. But that's the last time I ever DoorDashed. I've never done it since then. I got back in my car, closed out of the DoorDash app, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
That's fucking crazy. It reminds me of a horror story I heard once. This is going to be a rambling episode just because we don't have a lot to talk about with Waiting here. But it was this lady who was, I think it was a Lyft driver horror story. She was giving this guy a lift, and this guy was kind of sketchy. She was getting a bad vibe, but she needed the money. and the guy kept asking her personal questions. Like,
Oof.
and she was very nice, and eventually they started chatting about nonsensical stuff, and the personal questions stopped, and she dropped the guy off, and he called her. He had like her contact your Lyft driver thing. He called her after and said like, hey, I just want to thank you for the conversation because I was planning to rape and kill you, but you were so nice and
Oh
I
my
decided not
God.
to. Jesus Christ, can you imagine? Well, you can.
That's awful.
Kind of. You got a
I
smaller
heard
scale version of that.
that's awful. I heard one story. I don't know if it's true, but there was a Uber driver who picked up this lady. She went into Walmart, said, "Hey, just wait real quick," and I guess like she paid him to like wait and bring her back home. She went in, bought a machete, went back into the car, and then like just like killed the guy in the car.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I was a Lyft driver for about 3 weeks, and then I started reading these stories, and I immediately stopped doing it.
yeah. You're like, nope, I'm done.
No, it's funny how like when you're a kid, you're told don't talk to strangers, don't get in a stranger's car, and now is there's a whole business around both of those things now.
Yeah, I do think that those like DoorDash, DoorDash was really good for the pandemic, and it's good for people who like people who are like afraid of going outside or it's a good thing if you don't want to do anything, especially if like you're drinking at home. Same with like Uber. I think that there are benefits to society, but it definitely opens the door for more
Well,
crime.
like any there's horror stories in every single aspect of life. There's worst case
Yeah,
scenarios in everything you do.
yeah,
If you just lead your life by the worst case scenarios, you're going to be miserable and you're going to be scared all the time. So you
exactly.
can't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is interesting. Awards. Best line. What do we got? Best line of waiting.
There wasn't a lot because this movie's very offensive, but this one really hit home because it's how I joke around with my friends at work. It's so good. It's at the very beginning of the movie. It's Ryan Reynolds. He says, "Hey, if heterosexual men can't show their cocks to each other, what are we even doing here?" And then Justin Long goes, "Amen, brother. You're adorable."
The whole penis showing game thing just made sense.
Yeah,
I
so good.
Draft House had something like that. I'm not going to say what it was, but I remember hearing about it. I worked there like 3 separate times between, like with a lot of months in between. So it was like I worked there at 3 different versions almost. And the first version had something like that, but by the time I went back like for the second version, that was gone. So I guess whatever it
Oh my
was,
God.
they weren't doing it anymore because I guess corporate had caught on and were like, "You need to stop that."
Is it like pantsing?
I'm not gonna say it just because I don't want it to come back on me.
That's
I love that place. I don't want to tear it down. Um, I have 3 lines. I couldn't decide, so I just went with 3 lines that made me laugh. First one is Floyd's introduction. Dane Cook improvised all of his lines. He was not given a script. He was just told you're a line cook in a restaurant.
Of course he was. I hate Dane Cook. I'm sorry.
I despise him. I think he's a complete douchebag.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get why he like. I've heard his stand up. He's not funny. I don't get.
No, he's just offensive. That's all he is.
Yeah, he was a shock comic. And then he tried to be an actor, and like he was in a serial killer movie with Kevin Costner, and he just poisoned the whole thing. It was a good movie till he showed up, and then I was like, "Fuck, I don't even like this anymore." But we meet Floyd, and Mitch goes, "Hey, Floyd," and he just goes, "Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch!" Like to the new guy. That made me laugh because working in a restaurant is fucking Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. That shit's hardcore, stressful. And then the second line, also from Floyd, it's when the dinner rush starts, and he goes, "Carpe D's nuts. God, I can't wait to quit this job." And then the third one comes from Nate and T-Dog. The fucking, our
Yeah.
It's when the Bishop, the dishwasher, tells them, "You guys are so one-dimensional." And it takes him a second to realize they were insulted. And one of them just goes, "Man, fuck you, Whitey." That caught me off guard.
Yep, me too.
Goddamn. Okay. Music moment. Not a lot of options here.
No, I chose the training video theme music because it was so fucking spot on. As soon as it started to play, I got annoyed. I was like, God damn it, please. I haven't had any, again, I haven't worked in any chain restaurant, but on the hospital I work at, we have to do training videos and they all have fucking music like that.
Yeah, I had to do a shit ton of Draft House corporate training videos. I had to learn how every single dish was prepared, even though I wasn't fucking cooking them. I had to, yeah, including cocktails. Took forever. Took days.
You ever see the Wendy's training videos? Sorry.
No.
There, you got to look them up. Look up hot drinks, Wendy's training video.
That sounds awesome. Wendy's is on a different level. Like
It was a wrap. It was a wrap.
That's fantastic. Speaking of rap, I went with Nate and T Dog's PH Fat Rap, as it's called in the credits. Their end credits, terrible fucking dollar store rap.
Yep.
Because I was just like, we might as well set this turd on fire. That's what it felt like.
Oh my god. That's great.
Performance.
I'm gonna give this to Ryan Reynolds just because I feel like if if I hate a character, then the actor is doing something right. That's why I think like John Bernthal, wonderful actor. I hate him so much because of Shane from The Walking Dead, and just I hated Monty so much that I have to give it to Ryan Reynolds. He was disgusting, but also kind of funny.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I gave it to Alana Ubach as Naomi.
Yes, that was good.
I've met so many Naomis. Just been there too long. Hates every aspect of their life because they can't escape this place. Takes it out on the coworkers and then turns the other cheek and smiles for the customers. It's fucking weird.
I'm just gonna tell you right now, nurses do that too.
Anyone who's ever smiled that emotionless smile without their eyes doesn't like you.
It's so fucking funny too, because like we have like a patient care voice. It's like customer service voice. It's like we sound like this, and they're like, "Oh, hi, can I help you? Do you need help with anything?"
Yeah, it's like you're talking to a baby.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, well, aren't you special? Thanks for coming here.
It's so like nice. Fuck you! I hate you! I want nothing to do with you. Hi, welcome. Can I get you anything to drink?
I can't do it. I don't have that. I can't hide my contempt. I'm not good at that. If I don't like you, I'm gonna make it very clear that I don't like you.
Yeah.
And I just loved her like random bouts of psychosis where she would just be freaking the fuck out and then she turned the corner and just be complete turn off. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked her. Until she flashed her very angry bush. Then I was like, I don't
My
think so.
God, dude. What the fuck, man?
We didn't need that.
It's so angry.
Oh, this movie. Best scene.
Mitch's goat. When he goes off on everyone at the end, and then he just like hits everyone with the goat. Perfect.
It is a fantastic. Yeah, the way that's built up with him just getting cut off the entire movie and finally just having enough. When he points out Dane Cook and he's just like, you're the biggest piece of shit here. And he's like, what did I do to you? That's my favorite moment of that whole thing. Yeah, good pick. I went with it's more of a quote, but it makes me laugh harder every single time. It shouldn't because it's so bad. It's when Ryan Reynolds randomly does his Forrest Gump impression.
Oh my God, I know. Holy shit.
He just walks up to Dean and says in a terrible Forrest Gump style voice, Mama said they's my magic shoes. And then just starts saying some heinous shit. And I can't stop laughing every time.
Oh.
Oh my God. I could have, there's some options here. Some good scenes. Like I love when Dean freaks out on the redneck who leaves in the bad tip.
Yeah, that was good.
Very cathartic.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when he meets his like high school people who like cuts him off and says like, can I get more tea? What a dick.
Asshole.
Chet Miller, right? That was his name.
Yep.
Yeah, fucking Chet Miller. Oh, um, I love the random dream sequence where Dan's like putting out the fire and they
Yeah.
douse him in gasoline.
You know what would have been so fucking funny?
Well,
I think at this time, I think How to Catch a Predator was really big. So it would have been so fucking funny if the address, because she was like, "Oh, do you think I'm gonna turn you to the cops? I'm not gonna turn you to the cops. It's fine." When Ryan Reynolds was trying to fuck her, it would have been so fucking funny if when Dan knocked on the door, if Chris Hansen had opened the door, he was like, "Hey Dan, what are you doing to do? What are you doing here?"
oh, that would have been amazing. That would have been so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Oh. Now I heard Chris Hansen's show got canceled because he was one of the guys he caught doing it was an exec at like the channel he worked at.
Ooh, it wasn't an exec, buddy. It was a political figure. It was
Oh, is
like
that what happened?
a senator or something. Yeah.
That's way worse.
His show was brought back. It's on YouTube now though, but yeah, he's still doing it.
We were talking about Time Suck earlier. Dan Cummins did an episode on I think his name was Peter Nygaard, like a billionaire predator monster, and he did an interview with Chris Hansen in that episode.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, like half the episode is the Peter Nygaard discussion, and then half the episode is the interview with Chris Hansen. Just
You know what I like about Chris Hansen is he views pedophiles as like despicable humans, but it's interesting that I think the way that he comes off to me is that he finds them interesting, which I think is cool.
well, it's certainly interesting. I mean, the idea that somebody could be sexually attracted to a child is interesting. It's fucked up and sick, but it's interesting because it's completely alien to any kind of lifestyle that regular people know.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why the show was such a success, because people were like, what's this guy going to say? How do you the best part of that show is when they're trying to justify why they're there.
Yeah.
It's so sick because, I love when they're like, oh, I was trying to save them. It's like, yeah, but you brought the wine cooler.
Yeah.
Fucking sick bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
There's this comedian who has his bit, and he's like, what does he say? Oh, he's like, I'm so glad I'm not a pedophile. He's like, it's crazy how life does that to you. He's like when I was in middle school, I was allergic to peanuts. Didn't grow out of that, but you know what I did grow out of? Finding 15-year-olds attractive.
I've seen that too. I remember that bit. I don't remember who the guy was, but yeah, that's great stuff. I'm very thankful every day that I'm not sexually attracted to children, because what a hell it is. It's not a choice. It is like your brain's hardwired to feel that, and that's
definitely is a mental.
What a living hell.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, Ryan Reynolds. Monty. Let's see what Letterboxd has to say on our final segment here. What's in the box?
What's in the fucking box? Give me the gun.
Waiting has a 2.8 out of 5.
Oof.
Not bad. Actually, yeah, bad.
That's bad.
That's bad. Under 3 is bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But it's like right under 3. So, it's not.
There you go.
You failed, but you failed with a D.
You're the winner of all failures.
You are the smartest idiot.
Oh my God, what does he say? Well, fuck.
Oh, it's like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Yep, that's Waiting. That's fantastic. I've got 4 reviews here. 3 negative ones, 1 positive one. This first one's from Aaron. Half of this is pure cringe, and the other half is the most accurate portrayal of working in a shit restaurant I've ever seen. 2.5 stars.
That scares me so much. The fact that people are like, oh, this is accurate. I'm like, fuck, please don't.
Anytime you are eating food that was not prepared by you personally, you are taking your life into your hands. That is a fact of life we all accept whenever we're eating at a restaurant or at somebody else's house.
Mm-hmm.
We hope that, we hope we're not going to be poisoned. We just kind of flip the coin.
Yeah.
Like this burger I'm about to eat, I don't know if it's some guy's last day and he just hates that job so much, so he just decided to shove the burger up his ass. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm going to eat it and not think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Ketchup tends to get rid of that ass flavor.
Oh, my God.
This next one's from AFAF. That shit was fun, but I'm never eating at a restaurant ever again.
Yeah.
4 stars.
Yep.
This one's from Brad Hansen. A lot of weird things happening today.
Interesting.
This has aged like fetid fish behind a radiator. 2.5 stars.
Yep, that's how I would describe it as well.
This last one's from Zara Gwen. Someone basically tells Dane Cook that they hope he burns in hell, and I have never related to anybody more. 2.5 stars.
That's wonderful.
Burn in hell, Dane Cook, you joke-stealing piece of shit.
Yeah. I got a Google review here that I just thought was funny because I wish I lived a life how this person lives life. It's an anonymous review. It says, "What can I say that hasn't already been said about this magnificent brilliance of a film? This movie is a magnum opus of cinematography. Waiting is a brilliant movie, and I would recommend it to anyone. This movie will stand the test of time thousands of years in the future as an ancient relic of a more civilized time. To say this movie deserves a 10 out of 10 would be an understatement. Waiting belongs in a museum, and it should be recognized as the art that it is."
I want the name of this guy's ecstasy dealer because he is getting some good shit.
I know, yeah, he's just living on cloud 9 right now.
That guy is injecting liquid optimism right into his urethra, and he's just feeling it. I wish I could vibe like that. Goddamn.
Damn.
That's hilarious. You know what? Good for him. You know what? He found a movie he enjoyed, and he loves it. You know, congratulations.
Hell yeah.
This was fun. This was weird and quick and kind of shoddy, but you know what? So was Waiting.
Yeah, I like the episodes where we kind of just ramble, honestly.
Yeah, me too. That's what this whole thing's about. The movies are a jumping off point for a conversation that creates itself.
Exactly.
This was a blast. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you like the show, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. If you want to suggest films for us to check out, you can email us at filmgazm@gmail.com or send us a message through the socials. Check out our Letterboxd accounts for daily reviews. You search for me at Connor95, and in my friends list, you can find the rest of the team. Check out the website, filmgazm.com, where I have a link to that letterbox. You can also find articles, trailers of upcoming films, and every episode of our show. If you'd like to become a monthly donor to Filmgazm Productions, click on the link in the episode description. From there, click on Support This Podcast. You can choose to donate $1 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month, and all donations go right back into the show. Thanks to the entire Filmgazm team for their contributions. Thanks to Cooley Cow for our awesome theme music. Thanks to you for checking it out. Remember the cardinal rule. Don't fuck with the people who handle your food. Take it easy, keep watching movies, and we'll see you next time.